The Minister of Higher Education also announced that 26 TVET colleges are currently engaged in entrepreneurial training.
Lisekela bengameli Paul Mashatile liphendula imibuto lomuhla eParliament.
It is worth noting that we have observed over the 5-year period that this contribution is slightly reducing.
Commissioner wamaphoyisa eGauteng Lieutenant General Elias Mawela uthi imininingwane yebugebengu ekota yesine kulesifundza ikhombisa kwenyuka nga-2%.
So if we just run through some of the gender pay gaps in the various sports, in football, between Banyana and Bafana Bafana, it's about 1,100%. That's the gap.
Luya ngakwanza libito lokuthi wehliswa ngalokubonakala komkhathi lokhona ekubhatalweni ngokwengokubulili kwemidlalo kuleli. Baba kuhle kuhlangana endzabeni teSiswati la ku DTT yake sibuko lethamba embili lomuhla. Kumana na SABC News. Sishayele ngetindzaba letishisako. Tindzaba nje. Kusiluma indlebe talobanga ngentipi tingekethi nikhungethene ngomphakathi. Sishayele ku 011 714 6133 noma usithumele email ku news@sabc.co.za. SABC News. Live lakho itimele ayithathi hlangothi. Lisekela lebengameli Paul Mashatile liphendula imibuto eParliament lomuhla. Mashatile uthi kunenge lokwenziwe nguhulumende ukuqinisekisa ukuthi abantu abasha baya ekhungweni lefundo leliphakeme kufaka ekhatsi nasema-TVET college.
The Minister of Higher Education also announced that 26 TVET colleges are currently engaged in entrepreneurial training for what is called entrepreneurial hubs. These are meant to assist young people, but also the minister has also announced that they are looking at what they call youth not in education, employment or training, and also support that. And one of the other initiatives is through the National Skills Fund. Through the National Skills Fund, government allocates funding for capacity building to community colleges. And there they introduce skills programs, learnerships, and non-formal programs, specifically targeting young people. So, Honorable Mhaya, I believe that these initiatives will assist a lot in order to strengthen capacity for young people. We know that in the past, young people, did not like TVET colleges. There was a kind of stigma against TVET colleges. But I think a lot has been done now to turn that around. And a lot of young people are now going to TVET colleges to acquire the necessary skills that the economy wants. And that's what we are encouraging.
Bengameli Cyril Ramaphosa ufikile eGeneva eSwitzerland ukungenela ingqungquthela emave emhlaba etemisebenzi lesekethwe inhlangano etemisebenzi emhlaba International Labour Organization.
Ngameli Cyril Ramaphosa kulinzile ukuthi ethule inkulumo kuleti thunywa letihambele ingqungquthela yamalanga lamabili. ILO luphiko lolukhethekile lwamhlabuhlanga loluhlose ukuthuthukisa ubulungiswa kude enhlala kahle nesimo lesihlele kusentshetwa ngaphansi kwaso kuwonke le ngqungquthela ingcithi yawo ithi social justice for all ihlanganiswe ngumcondzisi jikelele we-ILO Gilbert Hungo kanti ke itawukhulumisa sidzingo sekukhulisa nokuqinisa kwemidamo ukuqinisekisa ubulungiswa kude enhlala kahle kuba ingcenye kweningizimu Afrika kule ngqungquthela kuhloswe ngako kusita kuhlela kahle kubambisana neqinisekisa ukuthi timfuno temave lasathuthuka tiyabukwa baholi bemave emhlaba lahlukene umabhalane jikelele batawethula tinkulumo kule ngqungquthela. Bengameli Cyril Ramaphosa utawube aphekeletelwa invente imisebenzi yokucasha thula sincesi netikhulu etsetulu kuhulumende.
Commissioner wamaphoyisa eGauteng Lieutenant General Elias Mawela uthi imininingwane ebugebengu ekota yesine kulesifundza ikhombisa ukwenyuka nga-2%. Mawela bemedelela imininingwane lomuhla kusishayamthetho sesifundza seGauteng. Lesifundza sifake 27.2% imininingwane ebugebengu kuvela kumnyaka wa 2022-2023. ugebengu lobufaka isandla kakhulu kube kubulala kutama kubulala kubamba inkunzi nebugebengu betemacansi.
Komishana wamaphoyisa Jenene Elias Mawela uthi noma tibalo tebugebengu tikhombisa kwehla kancane kulesifundza lokhu kukhombisa ukuthi emacebo abo ekulwisana nebugebengu bangemaphoyisa anemthelela lotsite.
It is worth noting that we have observed over the 5-year period that this contribution is slightly reducing. As in 2019, our contribution was 28.2%, which reflects a decrease by 1.0% or 10,750 counts over the past 5 years. Our contribution to the national figure will always remain high. This is taking into consideration the unique characteristics and profile of the province. Understandably so, because according to the Stats SA mid-year population estimates, Gauteng still continue to be the most populated province, largest population size. We are still likely to experience the largest inflow of the migrants, both domestic and international. The arrests for the quarter under review for the category of counter crimes are 15,920, of which 526 suspects were arrested for murder. Attempted murder, we've arrested 337. For sexual offenses, 1,038, of which 694 were for rape. For assault GPH, we have arrested 6,420. For common assault, we've arrested 5,570. Robbery aggravating circumstances, we have arrested 866. Common robbery, we have arrested 1,163.
Tindzawo letimbalwa kuso sonke isifundza seGauteng tivele njengaleto letinebugebengu lobuningi kufaka iThembisa, iIvory Park, iOrange Farm, iJP, iHillbrow, lidolobha leJozi, iBrooklyn kanye nelidolobha lePitoli. Letindzawo tinetigameko tekubulala, bugebengu kanye nekushaya. Mawela uthi imbangela lenkulu yalobugebengu kuba kucabana, ludlame emigwaqweni kanye nekubamba inkunzi.
Inhlaba inyanga lapho ubungathwa khona abantu abanalbinism umhlaba wonke ejikelele. Kubuka kabantu ngetigameko kanye lokunye lokuthinza abantu abanalbinism sikhulumisana nomasondo mazibuko longumsunguli ePindzaba umcondiso Albinism Society of South Africa. Makezi mazibuko sikubuyele sibomukele ndzabeni teSiswati la ku DTT. Make mazibuko Sevana. Nina bakithiwa ngathi asikhona ufana kahle namake mazibuko phake saphinze sibuye sichubeke naye. Make mazibuko sesiyakhona kuvana. Nina bakithiwa sichubeke. Make nomasondo siyakhona kutholana emoyeni. Nina bakithiwa asichubeke letsaba lethu tokuya sibuye ndzabeni iyayo ke albinism kufa kabandi ngalelo letsaba. Ngapha nephehla gese enyana ethi baphinze babuyela etafuleni lakeni lesibili etinkhulumo Tindzaba yemholo. Lehlango setimbili tithite akasethi phinze tibuyela etafuleni kulandzela kuphunda kathathu letinkhulumo. Eskom ubeke etafuleni 5.75% kanti inyana tifuna emkhathini kwa9 na 12%.
Confirm that the extended Eskom wage negotiations started yesterday. The NUM is still demanding a 10% wage increase. We can confirm that Eskom tabled an offer of 5.75%, and we can't reveal much at the moment as the wage negotiations are at a sensitive stage. Remember, the extended wage negotiations are going to end today. Today is a very critical day.
Kulumende ubuka ukuqinisa inhlelo teqonsati gwego netfonsa isikhathi eside litholela ekutheni itisebenzile lithinseka ukuqinisa setesula noma tithatha umhlala phasi emsebenzini ngakaphothula lo hlelo leqonsati gwego. Dodi sebenzi tembuso nekuphasa litawethula tiphakamiso talo ku cabinet lekuhloswe ngato ukucetha lo mkhuba.
Ikomiti engukhala kwizimali zabarhafi ixhalabile kukungakhathalelwa kwezindululo ezenziwe yi-SIU xa iphanda. Ikomiti ifumanise iingxelo ze-SIU ezisusela ekuqaleni kweminyaka ye-2000 ezambethwe luthuli ngenxa yokungabikho kwenkqubo yokuzimilisela. Iskopa siphakamise ingxelo ezingophando lwebholo i-PPE ezenziwa ngexesha le-COVID-19 kunye nokungabikho kwezohlwayo kumagosa kwarhulumente.
Officials in ESCOM, thousands and thousands. I think now we're still at about 5,000 of those officials. But the actions to be taken by the institutions at the time of referrals, you find that there is a very slow, lackluster attendance into such.
Nakuba kunjalo urhulumente uthi lo mbandela uyaqwalaselwa njengoku kusenziwa inguqu kweli candelo.
Is it possible or is it legally permissible to put a person on suspension and then not pay them their salary during that period?
Iskopa sikwaxhalabile ngokufadala kokuhlolwa kwabasebenzi abaphezulu eburhulumenteni kwezobuntlola naxa oko kunyanzelekile. Ikomiti ithethe ngowayefudule ngusomaqhuzu kwa-Eskom u-Andre Direte kunye nomkomishinala wamapolisa uNjengele Fani Masemola osaxelenga kule nkonzo ngelixa uDirete wemka engavavanywanga kwezobuntlola.
Part of the improvements, it will be a mechanism of saying how do you then address such instances where a person is appointed on provision that they must receive a clearance certificate and then they do not cooperate fully so that their vetting can be completed as soon as possible.
Iskopa sikwave ukuba i-SIU ityalwa ngaphezulu kwezigidi ezingama-900 erandi ngamasebe karhulumente kuphando olwenziweyo. Tinglulama Amatya weendaba ze-SABC eParlamente eKapa.
Inhlaba inyanga lapho kubungathwa khona abantu laban-albinism umhlaba wonke jikelele. Kubuka kwabantu leligameko kanye lokunye lekuthinsa abantu labane-albinism sikhulumisana noMasondo Mazibuko longumsunguli ePhinzabe ngumcondzisi we-Albinism Society of South Africa. Make Mazibuko siwamukele sikubingele endzabeni teSiswati la ku-DTT. Make Mazibuko siyatholana. Nina bakitsa sivakashele tolo sabuya emva kwelikhefu. Nina bakithi sinibukele futhi ke sinamukele endzabeni teSiswati la ku-DTT kanike nje kuba sito ngaphambili ukuthi lisekela lemengameli babe Paul Mashatile uphendula imibutho eParliament sesive ukuthi lolu hlelo luhamba kanjani njengoba sikhuluma nje.
Check what the problem is. And of course, you're quite right that the challenge is not only Kopano. We'll have to look at what's happening in Machabeng and as you are saying also, there may be a problem elsewhere in the province. So municipalities that owe Bloem Water is not only Kopano, and we need to look at all of them so that we don't resolve Kopano and then tomorrow there's Machabeng or another municipality. We are going to look holistically at all of them. So I will get a report from the deputy ministers, particularly the deputy minister of Kokta next week. We will look at sustainable solutions. And if there are solutions that will help us, if Section 139 is not assisting, we'll look at what else we should do there to be able to resolve that situation. And we will report once more back to this August House. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Deputy Chair, Deputy President, sorry. We'll proceed to Honorable Mletsane.
Thank you, Chairperson. Deputy President, the people of Kopano, they actually want to hear what kind of a help will be provided to their municipality to recover from its financial challenges, which it is currently facing. In particular, the low revenue collection and large debt to service providers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Indeed, when we were there, we had an opportunity to meet with all stakeholders, including business. And of course, all of them were keen that they want to see their municipalities being able to service them. We committed that we're going to assist the municipality because the provincial government was there. The Premier was there himself with all the MECs to be able to assist the municipality. And that's why they intervened with Section 139. But also they were going to assist the municipality to provide some finance to be able to pay Bloom Water to be able to provide water in the area. We look at what other further measures we need to put in place to be able to assist the people of that area. Obviously, when I get the report next week from Deputy Minister Parkster, we'll see whether there are other measures that we need to put in place to intervene beyond Section 139. But for me, what is urgent is to ensure that we can stabilize the issue of water supply in the area. We must ensure that there's a proper provision of services, including the removal of waste in the townships, to ensure there's proper waste management, and also to ensure there are proper services to business communities. In fact, when we were there were business people who wanted to invest in the area. In fact, they were not just looking at Kopano, but they were looking at the broader Harib district, and they were saying, we want to invest here. If you can get the municipalities to operate correctly, we are coming in, because most of them don't have proper revenue, because you don't have industries and so on. So I was very happy that business was there, as you help to fix this place, we are coming in. And that's going to help those municipalities to survive, because they will then have a proper revenue base. But we are focusing on that, and we are going to make sure that we fix the problem. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Honorable Nkosi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Greetings to the Honorable Deputy President. The challenges that are facing Bloom Water are also as a result of aging infrastructure that continues to hamper the future water demand targets as stated in the Greater Bloemfontein Reconciliation Strategy. The Mayor of Machabeng, Councillor Kalipa, which has been without water for days, has indicated that Machabeng alone needs R500 million for water infrastructure to deal with the current water shedding problems. Honorable Deputy President, what measures are in place to ensure that more resources to ensure that Bloom Water and many of the water boards that are facing similar challenges throughout the country have access to more funding for service delivery, infrastructure, restoration, and maintenance? Thank you.
Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you very much, Honorable Nkosi. We are working very closely with the Minister of Water and Sanitation on these matters. And one of the things the Minister is committed to do is to address this problem of aging infrastructure. It's not only in the Free State area. We've noticed that there are a number of areas in the country where you have aging infrastructure, and the Minister of Water and Sanitation has been doing that audit throughout to pick up where these problems are, to be able to intervene to ensure that we can then put in new infrastructure in many of these areas. So that work is a work that is already underway. So we will definitely not forget the Free State. Machabeng, as you said, they don't have the money to do it themselves. $500 million, as you said. But the Minister of Water Affairs and Sanitation is already aware of this. They've already picked it up, and they are looking at the solution and to ensure that we can assist these municipalities to renew this infrastructure so that they can provide better services and be able to get revenue from taxpayers, the households, and also businesses in their areas. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. Honorable members, we'll now proceed to question number 11. And this is a question on eradication of fraud and or corruption and or theft in the department. This question is from Honorable Professor and is directed to Deputy President. Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Chairperson, the land reform program remains a major part of the work of government. We must not waver on this task if we are to realize our transformation agenda. We must not allow anyone or anything to defocus us on this task. Worst of all, the allegations of fraud and corruption. It is for this reason that Cabinet approved the National Anti-Corruption Strategy in November 2020, which enables the country to step up the fight against fraud and corruption. As part of investigating allegations of corruption, we are working with various law enforcement agencies and entities to ensure that those responsible for such activities are prosecuted and to put in place corrective measures to mitigate against the recurrence of such acts. In this regard, President Cyril Ramaphosa signed Proclamation R114 of 2023, authorizing the Special Investigating Unit, SIU, to investigate allegations of maladministration and corruption in the former National Department of Agriculture, Forest and Fisheries projects called Ilima Letsema Support Program, and to recover any financial losses suffered by the state. According to the Special Investigation Unit, the proclamation covers offenses which took place between the inception of Letsema and 17 February 2023, or after the date of publication of the proclamation, but is relevant to connect with incidental or ancillary to the matters mentioned in the schedule, or involve the same persons, entities, or contracts investigated. One of the cases that are under investigation by the SIU relates to the concluding of a lease agreement with Cultiva Investments, which the Special Tribunal has recently declared as being irregular or unlawful. This is one amongst many matters that the department has taken steps to investigate after the emergence of fraud and corruption allegations. Internal investigations have resulted in disciplinary hearings, civil and criminal referrals of employees who are implicated in acts of corruption. As the chairperson of the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Land Reform, we will continue to work with implementing departments and entities in fast-tracking land reform and the coordination of programs to accelerate land reform and agricultural support, and will ensure that we root out corruption and fraud in that sector. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. We'll proceed to Honorable Professor.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Deputy President, thank you for very briefly explaining to us the processes and procedures that you are going to follow. I just want to ask you further than that, in terms of the backlog of land reform and the problems or the challenges that we have with the eradication of alleged fraud, corruption and theft in the department, why is there in the system nothing built in, like in terms of the Act on fraud and the Act of the Prevention on Fraud and Corrupt Activities? What happened to checks and balances and consequences? Because what I referred you to is a case way back of 2019, and it's now 2023, and nothing has happened so far. Thank you.
Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I take note of the fact that the issue you raised could have been addressed long ago or previously. But in our discussion with the department, they did indicate that they are following the guide to implement lifestyle audits as well as part of the anti-fraud campaign in the department. So we are going to be engaging with them to look at what more can be done. You'll recall that the anti-fraud framework is a framework that covers the whole of government, and we want all the departments to be able to do that, but come up with additional measures. So the lifestyle, or what they call the lifestyle audits in the public service, is now one of the things that is being used to ensure that it helps us to cap corruption in the departments. We will engage with the department to see if more can be done if things don't improve quicker. But otherwise, it's a matter that they are attended to. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Deputy President. We'll proceed to Honorable Mkiva.
Chairperson, good afternoon to you and good afternoon to the Deputy President as well as the members of this august House. Deputy President, Section 3 of the Public Service Act of 1994 allows the Minister for the Public Service and Administration to establish norms and standards relating to integrity, ethics, conduct and anti-corruption in the public service, which includes the adoption of the lifestyle, as you have alluded to, lifestyle audits, as a legitimate fraud prevention and detection mechanism. This is just by way of emphasizing the issue, because I know that you have already covered this very well. But the point where I want you to help us is the fact that one would have expected that by now all national, provincial departments and other entities of state would have long employed this mechanism to ensure that it is in full swing. What is the reason that the government has not fully implemented these lifestyle audits as a measure to combat corruption to this point? Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mkiva. I agree with you that we should move faster to get all government departments to implement this mechanism. We all agree that fraud and corruption in our country, particularly in the public sector, seriously undermine the efforts of government to deliver. And that's why government came up with this guide to implement lifestyle audits. But as you say, Not all government departments have moved with speed, and therefore it is up to the presidency to ensure that we check all the departments and ensure that all of them introduce and implement these guidelines to be able to curb fraud and corruption. Even the guidelines on lifestyle audits needs to be rigorously implemented to ensure that we're able to curb the problem. You may be aware that the president has established what we call the National Anti-Corruption Advisory Council, which will advise government on the implementation of a society-wide response against corruption. This council will in the main focus on legislative reforms, monitoring and evaluation of procurements where a lot of corruption does take place. So it will help us a lot once these mechanisms are put in place faster. But we agree with you that there's a need to ensure that all government departments do implement these measures. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, President. We'll now move on to Honorable David.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Deputy President. The IFP has long held the view that government's commitment to land reform and coordination of and acceleration of government's program towards agricultural support is not convincing. Though budget allocation may sometimes match the need, but it does not match the action and progress on the ground. This, of course, may be attributed to activities of theft, fraud, and corruption. I would like to know whether the government has any plan or plans of recouping monies embezzled through litigation of those officials found guilty of such, and what time frame can be given for that. Thank you.
The President.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. As I indicated earlier, the SIU does recoup monies once people are prosecuted and be able to return the funds to the fiscus. So we'll do that with all the program where we find that fraud and corruption is committed.
Nzabreswati la kutithithila ubukela khona ukhethe kahle sakwemukela hlala nathi. Kuleli viki eliphelile kube nemhlangano yamatekisi lobitwa ngeTaxi indaba eMiddelburg eMpumalanga emalunga nebaholi betinhlangano yamatekisi Santaco ne-NTA lebe uhlose ukuthola isisombululo lenkinga ekhungethele mboni. Nivela kulo sifundza seMpumalanga refilwe Mthanitsipana naye bekayincenye lo mhlangano njengoba bekadzamele uhulumende wesifundza. Kuva kabantu lo mhlangano wesamabhayana weSantaco eMpumalanga Siphiwe Petros Sibanyoni. Sibanyoni asikubingelela sikwamukela Ndzabeni teSiswati la ku-DTT.
Ngiphinde ngibingelele nabalandeli, ngibingelele nomphakathi wonke wase-South Africa.
Baba Sibanyoni, indzaba noma timbi tematekisi indvele kadze iyaqala futhi kubonakala ngathi isolokude kuthule noma tisombululo. Ingabe kukhona lokuphathekako leniphumela kulo mhlangano lebekadze nawo eMiddelburg eMpumalanga?
Ngiyabonga msakazi, kube kuningi kakhulu lokho esikudiscussile nesiphumenako just kile nsuku lezi ezimbili njengomhla ka6 nomhla ka7 whereby ukuthi sibe ne successful taxi indaba. I-taxi indaba beyitargete wonke ama-problems affecta i-taxi industry, but ke nase sesiya kuma-discussions we just came with ama-resolution actually konke nje besidiscussa sikhathe sakwenza nje through ama-commission esiphume nama-commission angu-4 la besixoxa khona nge-leadership ne-unity ukuthi how best can we unify i-taxi industry, okuwukuthi nje part of unity sikhulume njengento efana nokuthi sifuna uku-achieve one taxi association per each municipality, and then nokuthi si-achieve nje one united taxi structure ezobe i-mouthpiece ye-taxi industry. And we also spoke about the role yabo masipala, especially when it comes to taxi rank facilities. Ngamanye amagama kunama metros whereby esihlongoze ukuthi kwenziwe mhlambe ama multimodal taxi rank by virtue of i-fleet liba khona from different taxi association. And we also spoke about the infrastructure ezoba ine monitoring ngaphakathi ukuthi umasipala kumele amonitore kangakanani. It's just that being indicator nje ku commission yokuqala. And then ku commission yesibili besikhuluma nge-transformation ne-empowerment la esibheke khona esivumelene khona ukuthi in order ukuthi sisave imali eningi elahlekayo mhlambe kubashayeli kufanele sibe nezinto ezifana ne-electronic fare collection, into ezobe mhlambe isebenzisa ukuthi abagibeli basebenzise amakhadi, izinto ezifana nama-smart card, and then lokho okwenza ukuthi yonke imali egenerator ikhone ukuthi iqoqeke kahle. And then part of empowerment sikhulume ngale hlelo leli elaqala ngo-2006, ihlelo le-taxi recapitalization, whereby sikustage sokuthi lelo hlelo kumele ukuthi li-reviewe ngenxa ye-repo rate le influencer i-interest rate, ukuthi kumele i-taxi recapitalization ibhekelele ukukhuphuka kwayo, especially ama-price wamatekisi namaphathi nefuel kukhuphuka. So nokuthi government must also consider into efana naleyo. And then still ku-empowerment sikhulume nge-taxi industry i-subsidy. I think nizoyikhumbula msakazi ukuthi i-subsidy is a long-standing agenda whereby government enza i-commitment as early as 2000 or 2001. So siyenzile a revised plan yokuthi government must come to the picture again and occupy the space, abone indlela ukuthi imboni yamatekisi angayixhasa kanjani. And okubaluleke kakhulu ke sikhulume njengokuthi sifuna ukuthi si-establish ama-business entities. Why ngisho kanjalo? Kusimo engabe sesikiso manje bekufanele ngabe the majority of the filling stations noma ama-majority of ama-spares automatically sewa-ownwa ama-taxi association. However, lokho ke akwenzike msakazi ukuthi simane nje sihlale, ngikhuluma nje ngokubambisana ne-recapitalization program. Sekunamahlelo esifuna ukusondeza abesifazane eduze ngokuthi siba empowere, kube nje nama-container azobe ane-spares ngaphakathi nama-tire fitment center azobe amenenjwa ngomama. Thina-ke wethu umsebenzi nje sibobaba ukuthi nje sizobe nje sisupporta those business entities. And then we also spoke about ukwakha ama-cooperatives whereby sizoqala kuma-taxi associations sibe nama-primary corporations njalo to standard cooperatives, actually standard secondary size sofika naku-tertiary cooperatives. Kwindlela lezo-ke esizabe siletha nje i-transformation ne-empowerment ukuthi sirane a most successful business venture in the province.
Babu Sibanyoni, tinhle kakhulu ngeva songiba lelihlelo eliningi lenikhulume ngato kulomhlalo bazenibeleleni benawo. Tinhle kakhulu niloko niphume nako. Kepha kunenfo lekhona embonini amatekisi lekuyinfo lekuyingcinamba lenkulu letfusa bonke bantfu eNingizimu Afrika, indzaba yetimbe ematekisini. Yini nike nayihlalela phasi yona ikhulumisa yona kahle kahle indzaba yokuthi ematekisini kube netimbi kubulawane kushone bantfu, yini isisombululo singaba khona kahle kahle kubangwa yini timbi embonini amatekisi?
Ngiyabonga msakazi, maybe angiqale nge-root cause msakazi. I-root cause ebanga izimpi kunalento esibiza ukuthi i-two centers of power noma i-structural representation, whereby ama-association azoclaima uku-affiliate to different structures. And lokho kwenza ukuthi ungakhoni ukuthola ithuba eli-enough loku-instilla i-discipline, ngoba uma imember nje i-discipline automatically seyijampela ngakwenye inhlangano. So lokho kwenza ukuthi i-problem ihlale ingasolveki. ya ngamanye amagama ke ngikhuluma ukuthi nje siba nabantu ekuthiwa nje ama-splinter group abantu abangakhona ukuthi bakhuzeke lokho kukodwa nje kuya-contribute ukuthi kube khona izimpi and then okwesibili kuba khona into leyo yokungathembeki kwama-executive and at the moment i-executive ingathembeki is the moment yokuqala ukuthatha iside nako lokho ya-contributor empini and then bese kuthi amalunga wona ngokwawo our operate according to ama-ethics ne-proper code of conduct edeterminwa umthethosisekelo wenye nenye i-taxi industry. However, mhlawumbe ngingasho nje kokugcina okunye kubanga yile nto esibiza ukuthi i-oversupply noma mhlawumbe nje i-oversaturation of route nako lokho kuyabanga ukuthi kube nezimpi zamatekisi. Kodwa-ke into engiyuthela lesibuya kiyo yendaba kube izinto ezibukile ezifana nalezo sase sesiba nendlela ukuthi uma nje singa-achieve ukuba na one taxi association per municipality into ezifana nalezo will come to an end.
Siba kakhulu sibanyana kuloko leti inhlangano letimbili njengoba usho ukuthi nibele sivumelwano sekuthi masipala ngathi ngaba nenhlangano yinye yematekisi akwemukele kanganani emalunga lebekathi hambele lengcuthela ngoba lo muntu usho ukuthi angeke phela thina sale siphathwa abantu kanti nasi bese inhlangano yethu nguyiphi ke inhlangano lekufanele ukuthi ivume kuthona idliwe ngilenye labo masipala nangabe lithi kufanele umasipala abe nenhlangano yinye yematekisi.
Msakazi kule state samanje angeke ngithi ubano omele adlala umagwinyagwinyana kodwa ke ake ngithathe nje just nge short history ukuthi noma i-background ye-taxi industry ngo-2001 u-government wahlanganisa wonke ama-taxi association because kwakuyinhloso yaka-government yokuletha i-unit all the taxi associations, all the federal structures kwayokwakhiwa umtimba obizwa ngokuthiwa uSantaco. So ngamanye amagama if nje u-government can fast track ukuthi abantu babe ne-understanding nge-root cause ye-government ukuthi as to why bekafuna ukuthi alethe unity, I think all the association bazobe bazosisa ukuthi why kube khona uSantaco, why u-government is always talk to Santaco, why u-government is recognizing uSantaco kwenye nenye nje into e-involve i-taxi. So we believe ukuthi nanoma le nhlangano zombili singabone ngeso linye kodwa kungichazayo ukuthi ku-formation ye-Santaco NTA is also included ingaphakathi nje NTA. However msakazi masamukele ukuthi ushintsho alifiki kalula ebantwini ingakho nje nawuzwa nje u-former president wase-America uBarack Obama athi change will not come if we wait for some other people or some other time. We are the change that we are looking and we are the future that we seek.
Babu Sibanyoni.
Inguquko. Okay.
Babu Sibanyoni siba kakhulu isikhathi sakho sesishaya isikhathi ngathemba uthelelanga sita ukucela siphinde sikhulumisane nawe seluleka bandi ngalo lidzabo lamatekisi. Siba kakhulu Babu Sibanyoni isikhathi sakho.
Ngiyabonga msakazi, kubonga mina, ngibonga nabalaleli ngokuthi basiphe indlebe bazi nokuthi kwenzakalani ngaphakathi kwemboni nokuthi mhlambe basondele eduze nemboni yamatekisi ukuthi cha
Nina bakithi ngipetros Sibanyoni likhumela iSantaco esifundzeni seMpumalanga. Basala bathathu bavile ngentolo manje seThekwini ngisolo kula kwathishela wasenyuvesi yaseMangosuthu. Lokhu kungetha lesibolo sebasola ukuthi babe sihlanu. Derek bekutishela lenyuvesi eMlazi.
Ukwanele emakhaya uSandile Mkhize noThobane Mhlongo bavele kokuqala enkantolo yeMantshi yaseThekwini. Bajoyine uSiyabonga Maye noSihle Mkhize. Abasolwa abane kulaba bathwese amacala okubulala ngenhloso, ukuthumba nokubamba inkunzi besebenzisa isihluku.
So for the record, accused number 4, there's only one count of defeating and obstructing justice.
uMakhaye, uMhlongo, uMaye kanye noSihle Mkhize bayinqabile ibheyili.
Apart from bail information that needs to be done, at this stage, Your Worship, the state is busy in collection of exhibits, and in granting the accused bail at this stage, Your Worship, might hamper that investigations. So hence the state is seeking for a period of 7 days for bail information, that being profiling of the accused and further investigations, Your Worship. So at this stage, bail is opposed as far as accused number 4 is concerned as well.
Icala lihlehliselwe umhla ka-20 uNhlangulana ukuze afake isicelo sebheyili uSandile Mkhize. Abasolwa bonke bazogqunywa esitokisini. NginguNonhlakanipho Magwaza, izindabeni ze-SABC eThekwini.
Lomhla kubongatalanga lekunelanga engadi mhlaba wonke kanti sibutile ukuthi ngabe uyathi ngalelanga futhi ingabe uyanikela ini wena ngengadi uphendula kanjena.
Nikezela njengazi kuba lihelebho khulu ebantwini laba abasihlogako lokho nababandakanyeka engozini zenkoloyi lapho baluza khona igazi elinengikhulu. Wena na unikezele ngengazi lokho kuyabahelebha.
Ulwazi lona lincane kakhulu ebantwini. Mawuthi uyabuka nje abantu abaningi abayazi yonke lonto leyo. Yabona ngicabanga ukuthi kusawu umkhankaso lo kusafanele siphume ke sifundisa abantu basibazise ukuthi kubaleke kanjani ukuthi uyodonate ngegazi ngani ngoba uyakwazi ukuthi lapho omunye umuntu olidingayo uma ukuthi uyakwazi ukuthi udonate. So ngicabanga ukuthi lo mkhankaso ifibe ngathi nje ukuthi bathi bakusabalalise yonke indawo yona into engasiza abantu abaningi into yokunikela ayidlanzana nje kuphelele lapho.
Kwelami icala azange ndanikezela ngegazi and andiqondi ngayinto engathi right for mna leyo ngoba andiyazi ne-blood type leyo bangaba yeyiphi eyam.
Leyo ngumbono wembukeli i-SABC eteyathweswa ukuthi phendulela ngawo. Luya ngakwanza lubitele ukuthi kwehliswa ngalokubonakala komkhathi lokhona ekubhadelweni ngokuya kwebulili kutemidlalo kuleli. Nanobe lo mkhathi uyangakwehla ngokuhamba kweminyaka kepha usekhona. Kepha-ke kuze kube khona kukhokhelwa ngekulingana kufanele tinkampani titshale imali ngalokulinganako emidlalweni labasikade nalabaduna kuleli.
Ngaphambilini ukuthi emidlalo bekugcwele abaduna futhi kuphethe bona. Kepha nyalo selukhona loshintsho lapho khona kubonakala abasikade sebaba ingcenye yemidlalo nasekuphatheni. Nanoma lukhona lolo loshintsho kulabasikade kube nengcenye yemidlalo. Kepha indzaba yokusatha imali kulabasikade seseyinkinga kakhulu. Umkhakha wetemidlalo kuleli awukendi lokwanele uma kubuya ludzabeni lekulingana emkhathini abaduna nalabasikade.
If we just run through some of the gender pay gaps in the various sports, in football, between Banyana and Bafana Bafana, it's about 1,100%. That's the gap. So Banyana, a win fee is about 5,000 Rand. Bafana, a win fee is about 60,000. The Springboks or the Boks women, an average male player will earn roughly 3 million a season at minimum. And an average women box player will earn roughly 221,000. So that's about 255%. That's the gap. And then in cricket, it's better. It's only 300%. So where a Proteas women player will earn roughly 450,000, a male Proteas player will earn roughly 1.8 million a year.
Uma kumele kulunge leludzaba lekuhola ngalokulinganako emkhathini kwalabasikade nalabaduna kumele kusiswe imali ngalokulinganayo kanti kulungisa lokho kudzinga ukuthi abantu batilungiselele ngalokwanele.
As corporates, we really have to put a strong business case to our stakeholders to say, please do invest in women's sport. And how we've done that as momentum to inspire other corporates is that we've understood that this is a long-time game. If you're in it to sell policies today, you're not going to survive. You need to understand the national cause. You need to be able to understand the gender pay gap and our role in society in helping grassroots sports athletes realize their commercial value.
Kusiswa kwetimali ngasese kukhombile ukuthi kudlala inzima lenkulu kakhulu ekuthuthukiseni kwemacembe etemidlalo. Ibanyana lengiyo shambeni base-Afrika licembe lema-Proteas netball eliphume kuma-semifinals kundzebe yemhlaba yangaphambilini kanye nama-Proteas women's cricket labafike kumancame T20 World Cup ekuceleni kwalomnyaka kukhombile ukuthi kusisa kwetimali bachasi labatimele kudlala inzima lebaluleke kakhulu njengoba kuba nekutimisela.
You take netball and Banyana, you can kind of see the shift in the mentality from the players. You look at Mamelodi Sundowns, what they're doing for their ladies, and you can kind of see like the gap between that. And I think obviously you work so hard as a player, but I think as soon as you're going to put remuneration in the players' work ethics, you kind of get even more purchase. So I really love what Telkom has done for the netball. And also like it's kind of like the shift that Momentum did for us. And you can kind of see the game grow literally stature by stature.
Kubhadalwa kwemiholo ngekulingana kudzinga kubanjiswana kumkhakha lotimelena kuhulumende.
More sponsors would definitely push the needle and would allow federations and teams to be able to pay women more. But perhaps we need to start looking at it from, from a different angle, such as what other countries are doing, and saying that beyond the playing field, men and women play a sport. It's their job and employment. So therefore, employment equity should apply.
Njengoba umnyaka wa 2023 ungulwelo lobuye ukuthi iminyaka walabasikati ludzaba lwekulwela ukuthi kube nekuhola lokulingana kodwa emidlalo ludzinga kufakelwa tibo hayi nje kancane.
Sitibekala utelo umuntu nasibetolo sikhona simo selitulu sikhona kusasa ku SABC 1 ngapast 5 usale kahle.